0-0 after normal time, 0-0 after extra time. That means one thing: penalties. Jamie Carragher this morning. That's why your best penalty taker should never go fifth. Mo Salah not taking a penalty for Egypt in a shootout is madness. It happened to Ronaldo, Jamie tells us, years ago for Portugal against Spain. Has he got a point?
100%.
Yeah.
Agree completely. Yeah.
Salah never get a kick.
First or fourth, I say.
It was decided by then. First
or fourth. Set the tone, set the standard. Get your team off to a nice start, or go fourth, because very rarely the penalties are done by the fourth one. Very rare. You'd have to be unlucky. And the fourth one, more often than not, becomes really crucial. So yeah, I agree with him. I think it was a shame it went to penalties in many ways, because it's a bit of a lottery, but the best team won.
Yeah,
they deserved to win, and that was I think I'm right in saying that in the actual tournament that was the third penalty shootout for Egypt. Very negative. You know, the way you have to admire their defensive capabilities, but it was nice for Senegal. They never won it before.
Never won it. No,
and Mane was playing in the tournament as well. And his penalty, I have to say, because he was really concentrated. You could see him. He missed the one in the game, but the one in the shootout took some courage to hit it that hard.
Oh yeah, he was never going to miss it, was he?
It was unbelievable penalty. The problem is when you take a penalty, when you run up to the ball that quickly, you leave yourself more margin for error, because anything you do quickly is more difficult.
Yeah.
So it was a tremendous penalty to win it. Brilliant. I mean, I was really pleased for him.
Well, I mean, do you think the Egyptian public, God love them, Simon, should be up in arms this morning about the bad management, if you like, of the kicks? Because is there a right and a wrong way of managing penalty shootouts? I wonder what they're saying this morning.
Well, you would think
in Cairo,
he would have decided that, Salah.
And that's my point. You would have thought that Salah, being the influential player that he is, would have had some input on the order in which he takes penalties. So it's surprising to me. I mean, I don't know the best order. I would defer to Danny to say what the best order is for your best penalty taker. And if he says it's conventional thinking, says 1 on 4, then it would be slightly perplexing. But in a tournament where referees are blowing up after 85 minutes and stadiums are empty and a whole raft of other considerations that have gone on in this, it doesn't surprise you that some of the thinking isn't as joined up as you would think it would be. Because it's inconceivable. The best penalty taker and the most prolific penalty taker is the only one that doesn't take a penalty, or one of the ones that doesn't take a penalty in the final.
That's kind of mad, isn't it?
So disappointing. Whether up in arms is.
I mean, there will be.
What happened when you played, Danny? You get together and is it not a question of who's most confident?
I think if you're talking about if you forget the individual ego in terms of I want to take the fifth one and be the hero, take that away for a second. In terms of, you can prepare penalties in different ways. Some managers do it really, really attention to detail and want to know where you're going to go. So if I'm going to go to the keeper's left, for example, you practice that penalty continually. And the manager will try and dictate that you stick to it, so he knows what each player is going to do. You try and make sure every player in the team has their favourite penalty they're going to do, and you make sure they stick to that one instead of the change. Because the change in the mind is what does you generally.
Right.
If you're really focused on what you're going to do and you commit to it, it gives you the better chance. The problem, you can never, ever recreate pressure. The mind, tired mind, fatigue, the consequence. Some players walk up there thinking about, oh my God, I might miss, rather than I can't wait to score. And I used to take a penalty I didn't care if I missed the penalty, because we're still in the same position. Shootout's a bit different, but I used to go, I can't wait to score.
Did you go early in the list of takers?
I had this. I only had a couple of penalty shootouts that weren't that important, not finals. And I went. I think I went first once, and then I went third.
And was that up to you, or was that up to the manager?
No, that was not up to me at that stage. I wasn't that important to be able to dictate. But
I think when you were at school or anything,
I think ego takes over when you want to take the fifth instead of thinking what's best for the team. I don't think you should ever take the fifth. I remember what Carr's talking about when Ronaldo missed.
Does he always take the fifth, Salah? Has he taken it in the previous shootouts?
He must have done in the other two. I didn't watch them, I have to say. I didn't watch a lot of them.
I mean, they're all important. Is the first one as important as... I mean, when you look at it, Koulibaly, I think, took the first one for Senegal. And the big captain, big rugged defender, and I thought, what are they doing with this? But he cemented it.
I've heard people come on the show who've written books about taking penalties and doing podcasts about taking penalties, come on different shows on here or other media outlets, and none of them have taken penalties in big games and understood it. You can... Practice doesn't make perfect. Practice makes permanent. So if you're practicing the right thing, it's fine. But you can't recreate pressure. It's impossible. And you can't recreate what a keeper's going to do. So did you notice in the final last night, one keeper stayed big and strong and central and static, and then he went. And Mendy
up and down the line.
Up and down the line, which is a difficult one.
Yeah.
So this thing about there's a perfect way or perfect preparation, you can cover certain aspects, but there's some you can't. Ultimately, I think if you go up to take a penalty in a positive frame of mind and you're not worried about the repercussions of missing.
So in summary, there is no right or wrong way.
Not really.
You can't manage it.
No, but your best penalty takers shouldn't be fifth. That I do agree on. Okay. Because so many times you don't get a fifth penalty.
All right, Senegal won it for the first time, as you rightly say, Danny, in their history. There'll be joy in the streets of Dakar today.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.